Welcome to your embodiment practice today. We have the intention of moving stagnant energy. And so the class will be fairly vigorous, moderate to vigorous, and I'll be giving options to make it easier or to make it harder, depending on what level you're practicing at. But I really want to emphasize that as we have this intention to move stagnant energy, that it's not at all meant to get rid of any energy or to try to purge anything out or anything like that. We're really trying to kind of circulate what we have, and some things may move out naturally and some new things may move in. So it's really a practice of working with what is and moving what's here. And that I also don't want to make stagnant energy wrong or bad, because sometimes it can be really valuable to let things settle and let things be static. And so if you feel that at any time during the practice, that being still would benefit you at any moment, feel free to settle into that stillness, because there's always the ebb and flow, the spanda of movement and then stillness. So we want to include that as a holistic part of our practice. So you may want to have a tissue handy, as we'll be starting with Kapalbhati, but we'll do just a brief meditation before we start our breath work. So just find a comfortable seated position, sitting any way you like, even in a chair is just fine. Let your eyes close. Let your jaw relax. And just bring your awareness fully into this moment, into what you're experiencing right now. Noticing whatever you notice. Maybe as you bring this greater attention, your breath can start to naturally deepen. And just maybe paying attention to how the energy feels in your body, whatever that means to you. Does it feel as if there's some stagnant energy that would like to move? Sometimes when our energy feels really stuck or congealed, it doesn't actually feel like it wants to move. And so some of these movements that we'll be doing today, some of these practices we'll be doing today is kind of encouraging that movement where sometimes it feels stuck or lazy or not wanting to move. And so the next few breaths before we start our Kapalabhati, just kind of seeing if you can get your breath into all the corners of your body. Get your awareness, get your breath into all those nooks and crannies, as if your body, your whole body was just a giant lung that you could breathe all the way into the fingertips, into the toes, into the crown of the head. And so Kapalabhati, many of you may be very familiar with this, but if you're not, I'll just explain it briefly. It's sharp exhales through the nose, and we're using the power of our belly, contracting the belly to sharply exhale through the nose. The inhale is passive. You don't have to try to inhale. When you relax the belly in between, that relaxation invites the breath back in. So we'll do 3 rounds with a pause in between each round to just meditate on the effects of that round. And if it helps, sometimes I like to have one hand on the belly to make sure that's where the action is happening. That's where the contraction is happening. So as you're ready, you can take a deep inhale through the nose and then begin. And then exhale. Long exhale. It's the end of the first round. All the breath out. And just notice at the end of that exhale if there's any pause before you inhale, just a natural pause, not holding the breath. Inhaling as soon as you need to. And just a reminder as we go into the second round to keep your jaw relaxed. The jaw relaxed. The really only tension should be in the belly, shoulders relaxed, jaw relaxed, face relaxed. Preparing for the second round. Take an inhale and begin. And then exhale. Long, slow exhale. Letting the lungs get completely empty and just allowing a natural pause at the end of that exhale. No tension, no holding. The inhale comes whenever it comes. And just noticing the sensations all through your body. Any changes in your state of mind. Last round. Just as a note, I am counting 100 pumps, but you can be going slower than me. You might be going faster. Any pace is completely fine, whatever's sustainable, but just relaxing everywhere, except that action in the belly. And when you're really doing it right, the belly will start to get tired. So taking an inhale, last round, and begin. Long, slow exhale. Empty, empty, empty. And then just noticing that emptiness as long as feels good. And the inhale fills up all those empty spaces. Right, so from here, let's make our way up to standing. So we'll start our movement practice here just by moving all the joints, doing a little joint mobilization and some shaking. And we'll just start with one of the legs. And this can also be an assessment as we go through each joint, each section of the body, just kind of feeling what's there. So you're just rotating an ankle and make sure you go both directions. And then the knee, so you can kind of rotate the entire lower leg and you're also bending and straightening the knee as you do that. And if you need to give a little balance, you can hold on to a chair or the wall. Yep. And then we'll do that also with the hip. Just rotating that hip around. Feeling anywhere you've got little tweaky places. And then shake that leg. Just completely shake it. Oh, all right, good. Other side. Rotating the ankle. And maybe the toes too, if you can get some, just wiggling the toes as you move that ankle around. Other direction. And then rotating that whole lower leg and you're bending and straightening the knee. Yep, and as always, your pace can be faster than mine, slower than mine. Whatever helps you move your own energy, what feels good. And then the hip, and you might be doing smaller hip circles. Down here is fine. Getting them bigger sometimes feels good too, both directions. Good, and then shake it out, shake that whole leg. Right, good, okay. So hips, just gonna circle the hips around and letting your torso bend a little bit forward and back. And while you're tracing a circle with the hips, other direction. And then the arms, we can do these together, like both arms together, shoulders rolling back. Squeezing the shoulder blades together behind you as you go back, and as you come forward, kind of moving the shoulders towards each other. Both sides, go the other direction. And then elbows, just straightening and bending the elbows. And feeling the muscles contract all the way when you come in, stretching them out all the way. And then you could do the hands at the same time as you do the elbows. So kind of curling them into a fist, drawing them in, and then reaching them out. And then just move your arms all the ways. And shake them. Okay, the head and neck. So we're going to roll the head around. One direction. Just kind of one ear to one shoulder, and then the other ear goes to the other shoulder, go the other direction. And then just any movements. One good way is to try to trace a figure 8 with your nose. That can give you a nice wobbly all directions of the head, or just move it randomly, shake it back and forth. I always get dizzy when I do this part. Okay. Now we're gonna do the whole body all at once. Shake, jump. Get a little crazy. Get low, get high. Shake your cheeks, let your jaw relax. All right. Wonderful. Now just come to stillness. Stand anyway, just relax, let your eyes close. Deepen your breath. And feel the effect of that on your whole body. Good, very nice. So sometimes doing a long shaking practice can be really beneficial. You might consider that sometimes if you need to move energy, but we're going to go into some asana now. So if you want to bring your feet toes out, heels in, a little bit wider than hip distance, moving towards a malasana, squatting. And first, just bend your knees. You can have your hands on your knees. And here you might notice you want to bring your heels closer or a little further, but definitely toes out, heels in, so that we're gonna have space to move down later. You might stay this high for all of our squats. Just depends on how your knees feel. So listen to those knees, but we'll start with a twist. Let one shoulder drop down towards the middle, look back over the other shoulder. And you can also press into that thigh to open up the inner thigh. Take a deep breath here into the ribs. And then switch sides. Back. Letting that shoulder drop down. You should also be feeling a stretch through the side body. Looking back over the other shoulder. Pressing through that inner thigh with your hand. Deep breath. Good, coming back to center. So from here, rise up. Reach your arms up, palms together. And here you can go back. Your choice here, you can do a back bend. I'll show from the side. You can do a back bend where the whole back arches, or you can keep the back straight and just do a really good shoulder opener. So either one of those is as we're rising up on inhale. And then as you exhale, we'll come down and either stopping hips at the level of the knees or going all the way if it feels good. Inhale, rise up. Either back bend or shoulder stretch, and you can alternate those as well. Exhaling down. So at your own pace here. For you, moving stagnant energy might be a very slow, moderate movement, or might feel really good to kind of circulate, get the blood pumping, get the heart pumping. Breathe deep, either way, whatever pace you're doing. Jaw relaxed, slow, deep breath. Last one, come all the way down. Or all the way down for you might be hips at the level of the knees. So you don't have to make it all the way to the depth I'm at. Either way, wherever you're at, you're bringing your hands towards your heart and pressing the elbows to the inner knees, inner thighs, and straightening up through the spine, much as you can. Jaw relaxed, deep breath. Good, and then forward bend. Straighten the legs. We'll have a wider forward bend, so point the toes forward, but the feet are still a little wider than hip distance. And relax, you can have your hands on your legs, hands on blocks, hands on the floor. Let the neck relax. And then we'll slowly rise up. Good. All right, so come to the front of your mat. We're going to do some sun salutation-like things with some poses thrown in between. I guess this will be the front of my mat. You can bring your hands together at your heart. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Inhaling all the way to the fingertips, pressing down with your feet into the ground. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lift halfway so the back becomes flat, the heart opens, and then we'll step back into a plank. And you can always practice plank with the knees down or just bringing a straight line through the hips and the shoulders, building some core strength here. Take another deep breath, the jaw relaxed. And then we'll lower all the way down. And move your hands forward. So I like this low cobra, which is maybe a little bit different than the way some other people teach low cobra. The hands are a foot in front of you. The elbows are bent, so elbows are not on the ground. And that allows us to draw the shoulders down a lot. Pull the heart forward. So it's a little bit of an arm workout while we're getting a back bend. Take a deep inhale. And then exhale, lower down. Downward facing dog, hands under the shoulders. Press back. And a few breaths in downward dog. All right, bring the feet together. We're inhaling the right leg back and up behind you. And then as you exhale, step the right foot through. First pose here will be down dog lunge. So bring your back heel down and the lower body will be kind of like a warrior two, right? Right knee is bent, back leg is straight. And then bring your hands over, demonstrate it the other way. Bring your hands over. Your right foot is forward. So your hands are off the mat or kind of nearly off the mat. Upper body's like a downward dog. Lower body's like a warrior two. Okay, you should be getting a good stretch in that right hip. Take a few breaths there. So for moving stagnant energy, a lot of times people think this means we need to like wiggle around and try to move something. Now that's fine if you need to do that. It's not a problem at all, but it's also not necessary all the time. Sometimes moving energy just means allowing it, relaxing around whatever effort we're making and allowing that energy to circulate, to move, not contracting our awareness around something that's difficult. So bring the hands back, set the back knee down. And now we're stepping to plank. And you can always skip. We'll be doing some vinyasas here between each pose, but you can always go straight to downward dog if you don't want to do this plank, lowering down. If you do want to practice the vinyasa, then we'll inhale into cobra. And exhale to downward dog. And then feet come together so the big toes are touching. Inhale your left leg back and up. Exhale. And step the left foot through. Okay, back heel down. Down dog lunge again. This left knee is bent, knee over the ankle. Walking the hands over. So upper body is like downward dog, but diagonal, right? So off the mat kind of. Lower body is like warrior two. Good. Deep breath. Jaw relaxed, neck relaxed. And then walk the hands back. Step back. You can go straight to downward dog or child's pose, or lowering down through the vinyasa. This time for cobra, you can keep your hands closer if you like. So we kind of migrate towards a higher and higher cobra, always keeping the elbows bent, shoulders down away from the ears. And downward facing dog. Feet together. Inhale, right leg to the sky. And exhale, step the right foot through. Between the hands, back knee down this time. And place your left hand flat on the mat. Walk your right foot out a little bit. And you can turn the right toes out. So this is a twisting lunge. I'm going to let the hips descend towards the ground. And press your right hand on the right thigh, rolling that right shoulder back. Jaw relaxed, deep breath. Optional to reach for that back foot. Some of you may enjoy clasping the back toes or ankle. If you do that, keep your thumb up. Helps to open the chest, the right shoulder. Good, and then release. Bring that right hand down and step back. You're either going straight to downward dog or taking a break in child's pose, or from plank, lower down, inhale, cobra, bhujangasana. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good, feet together. Inhale, left leg to the sky. Letting your breath move through your body. Exhale, step that left foot through. Set the back knee down. Okay, so right hand flat on the mat. Walk your left foot over, left toes pointed out. You're letting the hips descend as you bend that left knee. Left hand on the thigh, twist back. Left shoulder comes back, right shoulder comes under. Very deep breath. Optional to reach for the back foot. It can be easier to lift the hips back to reach the foot, but then once you have it, descend again. And you can even push the foot back into the hand to help you open the shoulder, the chest, revealing the heart to the sky. Deep breath. And release. Both hands down, step back to plank or downward dog or child's pose. Doing what's right for your body. Lower down. This time we'll have the option of upward dog if you like. The arms are straight. The legs don't touch the ground. And then exhale, downward dog, or you just stay with cobra. Any of the previous versions of cobra. And feet together. Inhale, right leg to the sky. Moving with the breath, exhale, step the right foot through. Set the back knee down. Bring both hands to the inside of the foot, the front foot. Walk your foot over to the right, but this time the foot will stay straight forward to back, parallel with the mat. And here we'll take forearm lunge, which may or may not be on your forearms. So you might be right in the perfect place here with resting on your hands. Some of you might lower down to bring the elbows to the mat. And for some of you, you might use a prop, a block or a book or something, and you can place your elbows on that prop. So just breathing deep into the right hip. Coming to a place that feels good, feels like you're moving energy or you're sitting with energy, you're letting it move around you, you're allowing. But remember, deeper stretch is not always better. If it hurts, if it feels like a strain, just back off a little bit. Last breath or two, if you like, lift the back knee. So we have the back leg straight. Good, and then step back, either downward dog or child's pose, or take that vinyasa, lowering into cobra or upward dog. That's the inhale. And then as you exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg to the sky. Slow exhale, slow movement. Left foot steps through. Set the back knee down. Move your left foot over to the edge of the mat. Both hands on the inside of the foot. Forearm lunge. I always like to scoot my knee back even a little bit more. Back knee back. And then find where it works for you. Either hands stay on the ground, elbows may come down, or for some of you, one elbow might be on the ground. Maybe the right elbow touches, the left elbow doesn't. Or you place the elbows on a block. And when we consider moving stagnant energy, you might even wonder if, I'm wondering right now, if I know what that feels like. What does it feel like when the energy is moving, and what does it feel like when it's stagnant? Does it just mean the body's not moving? Is that stagnancy? Or can the energy be moving freely while the body is still? And how does that feel different from when the energy is not moving freely? Lift the back knee, optional. So these are all just inquiries to help us feel deeper, bring more awareness. And then stepping back. Plank. Or downward dog or child's pose, lowering down. Inhale into your choice of back bend, upward dog, cobra, and then back to downward dog. And then we'll all come down into child's pose. Big toes together, knees wide. Stretch the arms out in front, or any version of child's pose that works for you. Let the head relax down. And then slowly coming up. If you can sit on your knees, do that. If you need to sit cross-legged, do that. We'll just sit for a very brief moment. If you are sitting on your knees, curl the toes under. A little toe stretch. And just breathe into the soles of the feet, bringing your awareness to the toes, the bottoms of the toes. All right, good. Come on to hands and knees. So no more vinyasas. For now, we'll just do a little sequence of poses, starting with this balance pose. Reach the right leg straight back behind you. And then the left arm forward. See if you can round your spine a little bit to engage the core. And then after you've done that, lift again. Keep that engagement in the belly. And lift the back leg and the arm. And now you can stay like this, or we're going to do a little more difficult variation, which is to bring the right leg out to the right, straight out to the right. See how high you can keep it, and the left arm out to the left. Not easy. Left hand down, not easy for me anyways, and slide that right foot forward. Good, okay, so now high lunge. Curl the back toes under, straighten the back leg, rise up. Reaching the arms up. So another thing we can do to move energy that I really enjoy is this pulsation. As you inhale, kind of lift up out of the pose a little bit, but you're not straightening that front leg all the way. You're just straightening it a little. And as you exhale, you're sinking down. And this can be a great way to move energy very intentionally with lots of awareness, so that you're not just statically holding the pose, which sometimes can kind of congeal the energy, right? This can allow the pose to breathe. So now, if you're feeling kind of tired, you can bring that back knee down and just take a low lunge. If you want to continue to amp it up, we're going into warrior 3. Coming to balance on the front leg, back leg lifts up, torso, trying to get it parallel to the ground. Deep breath. And then we'll transition either to Natarajasana, taking that back leg and reaching it back, the right arm up. A little bit easier here if you want to just do a quadricep stretch. So you squeeze the heel in towards the belly or in towards the hip and point the knee straight down. So you can either take that stretch or dancer pose. And then we'll go back through these just briefly, coming back to warrior 3 or your low lunge. And then back to the high lunge. And then lower hands down, back knee down. And let's bring this leg out. So swing it out and see if you can lift it up. And back behind, returning to the balance and release. Good, if you want to take a child's pose or kind of shake those hips out or whatever releasing movement feels good. So we'll do the other side. I need to turn, you don't have to turn, but I have to turn so I can get my leg out. Starting with the left leg now. From hands and knees, left leg back, straight behind you, right arm forward. So jaws relax, breath is deep. Those two things will help move energy. Round your spine, draw the belly in, engage the core. Once you've got that core engaged, lift the back leg more, lift the arm more. And then bringing the left leg out. If you can, bring the right arm out. Balancing. And set the right hand down, left foot down, and slide it forward. between the hands. Curl the back toes under, straighten the back leg. High lunge. And then we can introduce this pulsation here. And I like to use both the front and the back leg for the pulsation. So not only am I straightening and bending a little here, but the back heel is lifting up and back. So you just kind of exhale down deeper. Inhale, rising up. So either back knee down, and you can enjoy the low lunge, any variation you like, or coming forward, warrior three. Balancing on that front leg. You can also bring the arms back, makes it a little easier. And then if you're in low lunge, you can come up and stand on that left foot and do the quadricep stretch. Knee points down, heel into hip. From warrior three, you can take Natarajasana. Jaw relaxed. And then going back through either the low lunge or warrior three. The high lunge. Bring both hands down, back knee down. And we'll swing that left leg out, work the leg out, and then lift it up. And then back for the balance. And release. Take a child's pose. You can have knees together or knees apart, whatever you like. You can make a pillow with your hands or forehead right to the ground. All right, slowly rise up. We worked those hips a lot, so I want to take a hip release here. Double pigeon or something like it. So let's show you this way. Say the easiest way to do this is your legs are kind of away from you. So you should be able to see a triangle formed between your legs. And we'll place the left leg out in front. And so your shins are parallel to each other. It's not like a cross-legged position. The legs are out. That's going to be okay for almost everybody's knees, I think. And then some of you who are a little bit more free in the hips and knees will be able to stack the shins, also called fire log pose, Agni Stambhasana, or double pigeon it's called. So the heel is on top of the knee, heel is under the knee here, and it's okay if there's space there. And we're doing a forward bend. And for me at least, I don't go very far. It's a really good opening for the whichever leg is on top or in front, which was the left. But if you have a different one, that's the hip that should be feeling it. But sometimes we feel it in both. And some of you may be able to fold all the way down, but even if you just go a couple inches and feel something strong, just stay with that. If you feel like that pulsation really helped you, you can do it here. You can bend the elbows to fold down more. As you exhale, you can inhale and rise up a little. And then we'll slowly release that for the other side. So when you switch now, the right leg might go in front. Make sure those legs are away from you a little bit. You have the triangle. Either right leg in front with the foot in front of the knee, or a little bit more advanced is the foot on top of the knee. Right foot on top of the knee, left foot under the other knee. Good, deep inhale. And then exhale, fold. And just notice the side. You might go a little further. You might get stopped way earlier. Just learn from your body. Listen to your body. Good, and then we'll release that. So we're coming down to Shavasana now. And probably heard many times, this is the most important pose or something like that. You're just laying on your back or any laying down position that doesn't hurt you. If you have injuries, it's fine to lay on your side or to sit in meditation. But especially for moving stagnant energy, I think it's so important to have a few minutes with no intention, with no control, with no no plan. Just a few moments of allowing everything to be as it is. Letting go of any breath control you've had, any pranayama you've been holding through the whole practice. Everything is already accomplished. And if this Shavasana feels very nourishing to you right now, please feel free to stay in it as long as you like. If you'd like to complete with me and chant an Om, you can just take a few deeper breaths, preparing the body for movement. And then we'll make our way up to sitting in whatever way feels right to you. And just taking a moment to notice and feel the results of practicing in this way, noticing your body, your physical body, and whatever you can notice about your energy body. Your thought patterns, your emotional state. Just noticing anything that's shifted. And then if you'd like to join me in Om to seal the practice, we'll bring the hands together at the heart and take a deep inhale. Om. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Have a wonderful day.